everybody, welcome to another episode of From What I Gather, where today I'm going to be working with some fantastically fresh salmon that I got just the other day, and I'm going to coat this with a nice Indian spice blend and bake it for a dish that's truly delicious that everyone's going to love. So let's get started. So I was lucky enough to catch this little salmon the other day while we were shad fishing, and it's really lucky because this is a spring Chinook, which is widely considered to be amongst the best, if not the best, eating salmon there is. So what I'm going to do now, I've already filleted it, and now I'm going to take off the ribs and pick the pin bones, so this will be completely boneless when I cook it. So I'm just going to slide the knife under the ribs, very sharp knife here, and just press it up gently against that rib cage when you're cutting down there, and that'll come right off. And now I'll take my fancy Japanese bone pickers and get the pin bones that run right along here. You'll rub your finger on them and you can feel them. Let's see, we'll get see if you can see them right in here. And I'm just gonna grab them, each one of them, and pull it out, just like so. Now if I were to go into here and go after these pin bones too early, and what I mean by too early is before rigor mortis has set in and then unset in the salmon, these would pull out a little chunk of meat on every one of them. So it's important to wait long enough till that meat relaxes. You know, when you first catch a salmon, you put it on ice hopefully immediately, and then that thing is stiff as a board when you get it home. So you go ahead and you fillet it, and you wait until that meat relaxes, and I give it at least a day, usually 2, and then those pin bones will come out nice and clean and nice and easy. Just like that. So let's take a look at the spices for our fish. I got a tablespoon of garam masala, a half a teaspoon of ground turmeric, a small amount of ground red chili, and you can use as little or as much of that as you like. I've got a teaspoon of ground cumin and a teaspoon of ground coriander. In addition to that, I've got about a teaspoon of fresh grated ginger and a couple of cloves of minced or pressed garlic. Optionally, you can just buy this fish curry masala, and that will work just fine, but I've ground everything up fresh here, so it's going to be a little more flavorful. And the first thing I'm going to do is heat up a little oil and gently saute all these ingredients a little bit to bring out the flavors and get a real nice aroma going. I have a couple of tablespoons of vegetable oil heated over medium heat here, and I'm going to go ahead and throw in my ginger and my garlic. That's a little bit warm. I want this to be kind of gentle, so I'll just pull that from the heat for a second. It is popping a lot, you can see. There, before that garlic has a chance to burn, I'll throw in my spices, my garam masala, my turmeric, my coriander, my cumin, and just a bit of that red chili so I don't get hollered at. And I'm just gonna gently heat that, for a minute or so, dropping the heat down pretty low now, and you can just instantly smell that aroma coming off there. It's nice, it's also pretty intense. And now I'm going to take this paste, and I'm just going to go ahead and put it in this little dish to let it cool down before the next step. And I'm using a little glass bowl because that turmeric will stain almost anything else. Now that my spice paste is cooled off, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mix that with a cup of mayonnaise. And I'm going to put in just about 1 tablespoon of fresh lemon juice. I want it to remain pretty thick, but I still want to get a little acidic pop in there. I've got much more than I need to do that little salmon with. So with the leftovers, I'm actually going to marinate some asparagus in it for about an hour, and then I'm going to throw that on the grill, and that's going to be really good too. I've got a foil-lined baking sheet here, and I've got my oven preheated to 450 degrees. I want to cook this hot and fast and hopefully preserve a lot of the moisture inside of that fish. So I'm going to put a little oil down on this foil and spread that all around nice and even. Just going to help with some sticking issues if any arise. Another thing that's going to help prevent sticking issues is to dry your fish as best you can with just some paper towels. We'll just put that right on there. And now I am going to lightly salt this. The spice and mayo mixture is fairly salty, but I still want to add just a touch of salt to that right on top of the meat there. Now, I'll take my spicy mayo mixture and just spread that right on there. It's not too thick. This is a very thin fillet off this jack salmon. I'm going to say 3/4 of an inch at the thickest point. If this were a big old salmon, then I'd use a much thicker layer, but I just want to get a nice coating. All of the exposed meat. And this is going to add the spice, of course, and a layer of fat. Just going to make it nice, moist. And that is it. It's real simple. I'm going to pop this into that 450 degree oven, and it's probably only going to take 10 minutes if you like it kind of medium, 12 minutes if you like it done all the way through. So my salmon's been cooking for 10 minutes. Again, this is a very thin fillet at that 450 degree temperature. It's just about ready, but I'm going to pull it out to keep it from cooking anymore, turn the oven broiler on, and then give that a minute or two to get going, and I'll pop this under that broiler for about a minute and hopefully get a nice crust on here. Now that was only 1 minute under the broiler, and you can see it's got a nice crust going on here. Now for me, I like my fish on the cooler side, so I will let this rest for at least 30 minutes before getting into it. But if you like your fish nice and hot, still let it rest, but only give it about 10 minutes and it's going to be ready to go for you. And that's the dish. Now I'm going to serve this with a little spicy fruit chutney that I got from a friend that's the kind of friend that you only share your best things with. So shout out to Rita for this chutney. And the asparagus with the same exact seasoning looks phenomenal. Let's give that a try to see how we did. Wow. It's really good because the spices are very aromatic, but they don't overpower the salmon, which still shines through because the spring salmon is just such a phenomenal meat. Well, I hope you try this, and I really hope you love it. And if you do, please like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.